Hello, tea family, and welcome. I am glad that you're here. Tonight, we're going to be doing something special. We're going to be making the No More Winter Blues Lemon Zinger mocktail. So we're going to start with lemon zinger. Now, this is a green tea, lemon, ginger, and lemongrass blend that we created. And let's see if I can get it to focus a little bit. There we go. There you go. There's some spilling right all over my laptop because that's how it works. All right. So what I did earlier is I did brew it up and let it cool. I did forget to brew some and put it in a ice cube tray to make ice cubes for our mocktail, but you know, you can't have everything. But this is what we're using, lemon zinger. I brought it to 175 degrees. You could go to 180 on a green tea. I let it brew, the first cup brew for 1 minute. The second brew, or for the second cup, I let it brew for 2 minutes. Now, if I had done a third set, it would have been for 3 minutes. And one of those cups could have easily become ice cubes, which would work really well. I like ice cubes made with the teas that we're using because that way, as you're sipping on them, since we're going to be drinking this one cold, it's not going to get watered down with regular ice. But for some reason, on Sundays, I never quite remember to do that. So also, I do want to say welcome for those that are here for the very first time. How we do this is greet us, say hello, let us know what you're drinking, what kind of tea you're drinking. Even if you're not drinking tea, that's okay. In whatever comment or chat that you have for the platform that you're viewing us on. And if you have a question at any time, go ahead and let us know. Just put that comment or question in the chat, and we are happy to answer the question. So Diane said that she tried the blend we made a few weeks ago and she loves lemon zinger. So I'm glad you tried the one that we did a couple of weeks ago. We did do a custom created tea blend. We do that periodically. And so I'm super excited about that. So what we did is we made 2 cups of the tea. We did 2 brews and then I let that cool. I didn't do the third one to make the ice cubes, but we'll survive today. So let's get started. Now, one of the things that people like to do is they think, oh, I want it stronger, so let me brew it longer. And that's not what we want to do. There's a reason why we say 175 to 180 degrees on a green tea and brew it for 1, 2, or 3 minutes, depending on which brew it is. And that is because we do not want we do not want it to get bitter, and the longer a tea brews, the more tannins build up, which makes it more acidic, which is what gives you that bitter thing. And Stephanie's having a chai latte. We talked all about lattes and chais last week. That's awesome. So this is lemon zinger. I have already pre-brewed it. If we wanted to make this stronger, I would just use more tea instead of the 1 teaspoon, the 2.5 grams per 6 to 8 ounces. I would do like 3 or 4, and I would make it stronger that way. Okay. I'm glad you liked it. It was a very delicate tea, Diane, and it does have that vanilla sometimes just ties everything all together. I love that too. Awesome. Okay, so we are actually going to start off with something that's a little unusual, and we're going to start off with some blueberries. Now, you could substitute in a different berry. You could use strawberries. We're very close to Valentine's Day. You could use raspberries if you want it to have a little bit more of a bite. You could use blackberries or whatever, but in this one, I love a good lemon blueberry combination. And since we have lemon and ginger and everything in the tea, I wanted to do it. So all I've done is taken my little wooden fork, and I'm going to kind of mash these up a little bit. And I am doing some in the bowl or in the glass that I'm going to use. And then I'm going to do that so it's easier for me to see them. Now, these were just frozen ones. We didn't get the fresh ones. The fresh ones didn't look really good at the market. But these are frozen, and you can use frozen. It doesn't have to be fresh, although fresh is always better. Now, all you see me doing is taking and putting some of the mashed blueberries in our mixed cup.
Stephanie liked the other one too.
Stephanie liked the other one too. That's awesome. Yeah. The one you made, yeah. See, like it's fun. You make a new tea and then you get to try it and you see what the flavors taste like. I love doing that, obviously. Okay, so we have, I probably would say we did about a quarter cup of blueberries. Some are in our glass here that have been muddled, so to speak. And then some, I poured some in here. Next, we are going to add our cooled lemon zinger tea. And now I am going to need my handy dandy assistant to go get the hot water.
Hot water?
Hot water. Bring the kettle. It's okay. All right. He doesn't know. See, he doesn't know the recipes ahead of time. So he's kind of like, wait, what am I doing? All right. So one of the things that I really wanted to add to this is a honey, because it's really going to blend, thank you, the flavors well. And I actually I'm going to use a vanilla honey today. You could use a regular honey, simple syrup, vanilla honey, simple syrup, a vanilla simple syrup that doesn't have honey in it. But I do like the honey flavor, and I did want to have just a little bit of vanilla. Now, I'm going to show you how to turn this vanilla infused honey from Remy B's, friends of ours, into a simple syrup to go in here. You'll notice there's no sweetness that went in here other than the blueberries. So what I have is, this is 1/8 of a teaspoon. So 2 of those. So we made it to 1/4 of a teaspoon. It's so good just by itself, of vanilla infused honey. You could very much use a honey or a vanilla simple syrup or any combination of those, like I just said. But right now it's all just honey, and it's not going to mix in well. We're going to actually turn it into a simple syrup first. And all we have to do to that is we could add heated tea or add the hot water. Now remember, this was at 175 degrees. I'm going to just take this and I'm going to mix it with water. And literally that's all you have to do to make a vanilla honey simple syrup. Now I could have done honey and the warm water. As you can see, there's no honey left in there. It's all liquid, just with a couple of stirs. You could have used regular honey, the hot water, and then a touch of vanilla extract in here. You could also do lemon extract or orange extract or anything you wanted. If you wanted to add a nutty flavor, I don't know that I would go with almonds as much as I would go with hazelnuts on this one, but I really wanted the vanilla flavor. And so now I'm going to add that to about 2 tablespoons of water. So it's a little over 2 tablespoons of the vanilla honey simple syrup that we just made. Now, I'm going to try and do this without making a mess. We all know that I don't have a good track record of that for whatever reason. I'd love to blame the equipment. I think it's just operator error, as you can see. All right, now, ice. Well, my handy dandy assistant grabs some ice for us. What I have here is rosemary. This is fresh rosemary. It was just picked, I don't know, less than 30 minutes ago. And you only need a little bit. But what I want to do is kind of bruise that with my hands. And I do really want fresh stuff here. Oh, it smells so good. And then I'm literally going to just drop it in there. Okay, now, it's just us. You guys aren't doing this. If I was making this for somebody else, I would definitely not be using my fingers, but it's not for anybody else. So I'm going to go ahead and use them. And then, so I have little blueberries. I've got my, put some ice in here. Except I've got one more thing. And this is something that you would have seen before. If you want that little bit of fizz, I'm going to add some plain ginger ale to it. And I'm going to go with about half. First, it's going to eat up all that ice on me. And then you can see I've got, look at that beautiful color starting in there with the blueberries. And then you're going to have, even right now, I've got ginger and I've got blueberries and I've got a little bit of rosemary. Then I am going to add my tea. Is that not delightful looking? So you're going to have some of that purple juice mixing in, giving it a very light purpley pink. And if you want more ice, obviously, cheers. Okay, so let's talk. I can really taste the ginger followed by the lemon and the blueberry. It's kind of like ginger, lemon, and then lemon, blueberry are kind of together. And then it has like a rosemary finish. You kind of give it a fresh herbal finish, but it blends really, really well with the lemongrass that's in this tea. So I taste the tea, but I also taste the other ingredients and I get that blueberry in there. Definitely, definitely. Now you could do this with a lemon twist for a nice little garnish. But again, look at that beautiful color. And then I used frozen blueberries. They were out for about 5-10 minutes before we started. And by the time I get to the bottom of this drink, it will very much be soft enough for me to eat the blueberries at the end, which is always the best thing. So crazy good, zesty, fresh notes. It is like a touch of spring in there at the same time. It's kind of getting you geared up, a little bit of that fruity notes. Got some tang to it. This is the perfect mocktail to enjoy when you're just sipping. I really think you will enjoy it in the winter, which is why we named it what we did, which was No More Winter Blues. Lemon Zinger Mocktail is what we're calling it. No more winter blues. A play on blueberries and the blues that people get when there's less sunlight and everything like that. This is just perfect for that. Now, I better make another one, otherwise my handy dandy assistant's going to do it. So again, we're just going to throw some blueberries in the glass. We're going to mush them up. Now you might have something that's better. I like to kind of twist.
Stephanie says she's ready for spring.
Stephanie's ready for spring. You know, I am too. I think we got the snow so kind of relatively early and then it stopped and warmed up that it's like, okay, I'm ready for spring. So I'm kind of thinking of those kind of things.
Wednesday, winter storms.
And we got winter storms coming in on Wednesday. Now, I am going to go ahead and I like to bruise it. Now, why do I bruise the rosemary and things like this? Or you've seen me bruise it when I do basil. Now my hands are going to smell like fresh rosemary. It's awesome. Why do I do that? That really gets the oils to the surface without damaging the rosemary. You know, it'll still kind of come out. Alrighty. We are going to make another little bit of our simple syrup. But questions about what this tea or the mocktail, what would I put it with? Well, this is definitely a scone, a lemon pound cake, a regular pound cake. I'm thinking all that. I lost my spoon.
It's in the thing right there on top. Right in the middle of the whiteboard.
Not this one.
No, the one right there.
Oh, there it is. I couldn't see it. It was too close to me. I'm thinking like those kind of like really yellow cake, spice cake kind of baked goods. Very fruity in nature, even with the herbal notes. So I would think anything like chickens would be good. I would use this to balance off something spicy. Like if you wanted to make a beef brisket or a more traditional, we've got St. Patrick's Day coming up. This would be really, really great for that. You could do it with your corned beef. Yeah, Yeah, New England boiled dinner, anything like that, and you would be completely good to go. All right. He likes his with a little bit more sweetness to it. So, what else? Meats. I'm in a state of fish, lighter things. Now, if we were doing this, this would be the perfect tea to have with a charcuterie board with lots of those spices, the olives and the spicy like salamis and different things like that. It would be a perfect thing to have, especially when you get to the cheese and crackers end of it. I don't think our thing fits correctly. I kept pushing it down. It kept pulling back up.
No, that top, the string top.
Okay. All right. Well, making a mess here is what I'm making. Okay. So those are the reasons why. Those are some of the things I like it with some of the specialty cheeses, especially something that's going to have a little more bite. A goat cheese would be delightful with this. I'm going to add just a little bit more right here. Pour our tea in. And there you go. I even made two. I made a big mess on the train, but look at that. So you could do it really big like that. You could make a pitcher at a time. There's for the handy dandy assistant. Yay. But light, refreshing, but you know, really it's got some unusual flavors to it. Like it's very gingery, which is nice. And then the rosemary adding that herbal note. That's why I really like this one. I wanted to do something different. It's going to be kind of like a surprise to your palate. It's not just sweet. It's got savory, sweet, a little bit of hint of spice in there. It is really nice. I love how it starts with the ginger and then the other flavors just absolutely come through.
Get the fizz too.
And it has a nice fizz, and you could put as much ginger ale or not. Now, why did I choose ginger ale? Obviously, it's already got ginger in it, which is going to complement what we put into the mocktail. Additionally, it's lighter. It's not going to be as heavy as some other sodas, but it's not as light as like a club soda. I like the blueberries because I love that blueberry lemon combination. So you could do, I mean, blueberry muffins would even really go well with this. I love the finish with the rosemary, that lemongrass rosemary finish, kind of really hitting a lot of different points on your palate. So, but that's what I figured we would make today. Next week, I do want to remind everybody that it is our question and answer week. So that's the week to go ahead and send me in advance any questions that you have. It could be about how to make tea, how to make a certain tea, why we combine certain ingredients for certain teas, anything like that. Anything about tea is on there. Anything about like our business, how we started, or what you wanted to know, like all the things that interest you, even if it's a list of what we know we're doing for events this year, they're all in play when it comes to tea, and we'll be doing that next week. Does anybody else have any questions for this week before I continue to drink this? This is the part that's sad for me. I would love for you all to be able to be here and I could just make one for everybody and you could all try it. But that's a much longer trip for some of you than others. The baby seedlings. Could you please go get the baby seedlings? I will show you an update. Yes, I'm glad you asked. We check on those every day, multiple times a day. And right now we've had some semi-good weather for a little bit. And so they've been going out during the day and getting nice and hardy. However, we had to transport them into this. But as you can see, they are doing really well. Can they see that?
Yeah.
Okay. I had to put it right in front of my face so I couldn't see the camera. So they're doing really well. I'm really hopeful. The biggest concern that we have, we actually have quite a few. We're really excited about these, especially getting Macintosh apples close to us. The biggest concern we're going to have, I think they'll be ready at the appropriate time to put outside.
I think about 8 inches.
And I know we need, they need to be about 8 inches, but I think it's a fall planting, isn't it? Anyway, when it's appropriate for them to go out, the biggest issue we're going to have is we're going to have to fence it off because the deer really love apple trees. And so we've lost our first 2 apple trees that we planted years ago when we first purchased this house because the deer just kept eating them. And the more it would start to grow, the more they would eat it until it didn't exist anymore. So we are really going to have to protect them and make sure that none of the deer are getting in there to steal our apple trees before they can start producing apples. I'm happy to feed the deer all the apples that, you know, get bruised up and fall to the ground and like, you know, the bees get into or anything like that, and let them have all those and let us just pick all the other apples for our teas. But we'll see what happens this year when we go into it. But that's how they're doing. They're doing pretty well. We haven't killed them yet. He is my handy dandy assistant though, since we brought our regular herbs and lemon tree and everything, and we bring them downstairs. We have a UV light, and it takes over a really good section of our downstairs. The handy dandy assistant has been trying to kill off my basil by not giving it water.
What?
like I go down there, I'm like, hey, I think these need water. He's like, no, I just watered them. And I've been teasing him. He's only giving them like a teaspoon and they need like a cup because there were some that were really bad. So I'm hoping all my basil comes back. We use a lot of basil. We use a lot of Italian spices in this house. We eat a lot of Italian food. We eat a lot of Mexican food. So any other questions that you have this week? Or, I mean, if you're saving them for next week, that's okay too. But yeah, that's No More Winter Blues mocktail. Super easy. All it takes is some lemon zinger, some blueberries, make that vanilla honey simple syrup, some ginger ale, and a little bit of rosemary. That's it. Super simple, very clean. And I think it'll make for a great time when you want to just kind of sit back and enjoy playing games with friends, charcuterie boards, that sort of thing. I love this with some cheeses. In fact, one of the things that I want to try this with afterwards, we were in our dairy because we go to a place a couple miles up the street and get all our milk. Like we can wave to our cows. We know which cows produce our milk. And they had a new local made cheese there and we tried that. It was really, really good. It was a medium cheddar, which isn't quite as much as the extra sharp cheddar that we usually get, but it was so delicious. I would be really interested in like that with a jalapeno pepper jelly, that cheese on a whole wheat cracker with this. I think that's the perfect snack right there. I think that would be the perfect snack. And for those that absolutely have to have some more of that creaminess, you could always add in, I know a lot of people do that jalapeno jelly right over some softened cream cheese, and they put that on the crackers. You could do that, but I definitely think this cheddar would go perfectly with it as well. So any other questions while we're here? Or anything you want me to talk about again? Okay, I will remind you just a couple of things. I know I talked about question and answers next week. The other thing is we are almost halfway through February. Valentine's Day is this week. Tomorrow is today. Today's the last day to order any Valentine's samplers to make sure that they get there in time for Valentine's Day. The other thing is we are almost halfway through February already. And that means that we will be saying goodbye to a couple of teas soon. Let's see, Mocha Mint already stopped. Winter's Kiss will go through the end of March, but we have our brand new
Sunlit Orchard, which is the one of our caffeine-free herbal tea that we'll be making. That's our ginger apple tea. And that will be available to everyone March 1st, but it will be available to my VIPs on February 15th. So if you're one of our VIPs, you can get it on February 15th. You just need to message us and we will get that out to you just a little bit early as a benefit and bonus of being part of our free VIP club. So I think that's all I have, unless you all have any questions. Thanks for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you next week.